What's good? It's your girl AB Wavy, and I'm back with another video. And this video is going to be a story time. And the scenery is different because I'm in my car. Just to let y'all know, it's really cold in my aunt's house, and I really did not feel like being in there anymore. So I'm in my car having doing a story time. I hope you guys don't mind, although I'm not really sure why you would mind, you know. But anyway, and if I keep looking this way and this way, is because I'm using my front camera to record this video. I do record with my phone, and I just did not feel like setting up the back camera to make sure it was on me. You know, this is just way easier. So this story is going to be about my middle school principal and the fact that he made me cry in front of like everybody at my school pretty much at a basketball game, okay? Now, a little backstory on me and this principal. I had seen him a few times before he became my principal, but we never had any like run-ins or anything like that. But fast forward to 8th grade, when he did become my principal, we did have a few things leading up to this incident. Nothing super serious or anything, but just kind of stuff that made me feel like, what the fuck? Why is he coming for me all the time, you know? So one of the earliest incidents I could remember is when we were first starting school. He was coming to each of the classrooms to give us our ID badges, because at my school you had to wear your ID badge every day just to show that you were a student at the school, what grade you in, and it had a picture on there so that we can so they can make sure that, you know, you were that actual student. So you can't wear someone else's ID badge, although, you know, there wasn't even a reason to, unless it was like your boyfriend or something like that. But they did stuff like that just to identify each student, okay? So he came to our classroom and was handing out ID badges, and when it was my turn to get my ID badge, I had went up there, and I remember the first thing him saying to me is like, you know, you're really pretty, or you're pretty, or something like that. Like, you should smile more. I don't remember if he said you should smile more, but I know definitely he said that I was pretty, right? He didn't say it to any of the other students that went up or anything like that. And he said it in front of everybody in there, so I really didn't think like, oh, this is weird, you know, because he said it in front of everybody. So I just grabbed my ID badge and went on. You know, didn't smile extra, just like, thank you, and went back to my seat with my ID badge, okay? So another incident is like, we saw him at Walmart, and me and my cousin like ran off when we saw him, or when we saw him see us, because y'all know how it is when you're in 8th grade, or you're in middle school, or, you know, it's really weird to see your principal or your teachers, you know, outside of school, because it's almost like, what other life do you have besides being my principal or my teacher? Like, it's just really weird to see you outside of school, you know? At least for us it was like that, especially a principal who, you know, was kind of off to me, you know. It was just crazy. So I remember the next day, or maybe a couple days after seeing him at Walmart, I was coming out of the bathroom, and he was just like, what is your, like, immediately, like, here's the bathroom wall, here's me. As soon as I like fucking came out of the door, he's like, what's your purpose? And I'm just like, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, I'm confused. So I'm just like, what? And I guess he thought I was, you know, trying to play stupid. So he's like, what is your purpose? I saw you and your cousin run off at Walmart and da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, what did you want us to do? Run up and hug you? Like, I plain as day said, it was weird seeing you. Like, you know, it wasn't anything big, you know. Like, what did you go home and think about that the whole time? Like, did you think we were talking about you? Like, no, we saw you see us, and then we ran off because that was weird. So after that day, I just kind of felt like, what the fuck, you know? So and then another incident, let's see, when I had a friend whose name was John. Well, his name isn't John, but we'll call him John. So in the hallway at our school, PDA, you know, they don't want you hugging, they don't want you having boyfriends and stuff like that, you know. But John was he was just a good friend of a guy that I was talking to at the time. Well, I wasn't talking to him at that time that this happened, but John was a good friend of a guy that I dated in middle school. But even though we weren't dating anymore, John and I were still cool. So John had gave me a hug, and it's like, as soon as like John was like done hugging me, the principal was right there. And I keep saying the principal because we'll just call him principal. Like, that's what he was, principal. So right after John hugged me, the principal was right there and was like, you know, I can suspend you, right? Like, looking at me, talking to me, and I'm just like over a hug, but I'm just like, whatever. Like, I just let it go, brushed it off, went on by my business, you know, John, don't hug me no more type thing. So fast forward to some time. I'm not sure, like, nothing really happened again after that I can remember, but this girl had started going to our school. We'll call her Jess, okay? So Jess started coming to our school. Jess was labeled as a bad kid from the jump. Like, you know, people didn't really like fuck with her like that, or if they did, it's because they thought that she was like, you know, cool, like a bad girl, you know. And I'm not the type of person to judge anyone or anything like that. Like, if you're a cool person when I meet you, you're a cool person when I meet you. You know, I can't really do anything about what other people think about you. Like, that's just how I was, you know. So me and her start being cool, you know, hanging out around school sometimes. A lot of my teachers didn't know that I was like friends with her, because we didn't really have a lot of classes together. So I would just like talk to her after school during text message, with text messages and stuff, or like we'll see each other in the hallway. So I remember one particular day we wanted to stay after school for the basketball game. And when you stay after school for basketball game, for events and stuff like that, or for after school programs, you can't like go out into the bus lane or to the car ride lane and talk to your friends and socialize like you would normally do if you were going home. So you would have to go to the gym, or, you know, in the teacher's classroom that you were staying after for, and stuff like that. So we went to the gym. You know, most of the students are in the gym, or a lot of the students were like trying to hang out by the double doors at the back of the gym to kind of like talk to their friends who were walking to the bus. But I didn't want to get sent home, so we were just sitting on the bleachers, because if they did catch you doing that type of stuff, there's a possibility they could send you home. But turns out for me, you don't have to do anything to get sent home, apparently. Shoot, I don't have the same rules as everybody else, okay? So anyway, the principal comes into the gym and was like, you know, nobody can leave the gym. You got to stay in here till the game starts, and then when the game is over, we expect your rides to be here. You know, just giving us the whole rundown that we already know. So I believe that I don't know how it came about, but I did ask the principal if I could go to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom. Of course, there's people in the hallways and stuff like that still. So I go to the bathroom, use the bathroom, wash my hands, come back. He's just like, did you wash your hands? So I'm like, yeah. And mind you, the bathroom was, okay, so there's some double doors, and then like a little hallway, and then like the bathroom, okay? So when you come out the bathroom, you can go into the little hallway that leads to the double doors to the gym. So it wasn't far away from the gym at all, you know, so it's not gonna take me a long time. Went to the bathroom. I only had to pee, washed my hands, tried to go back. He met me in that little hallway and was like, did you wash your hands? So I'm like, yeah, but like I just turned around and went to go wash them again, because obviously I didn't take long enough for you. So came back after washing my hands for the second time, and he was just like, I don't like liars. So I'm like, what I lie about? You know, I'm like legit confused, you know. So he's like, I don't like liars. And that immediately started making me feel kind of you know, when you feel like you're about to start crying but you haven't started crying yet. I started feeling that feeling, you know, because I didn't like the fact that he was calling me a liar, or the fact that I actually did use the bathroom, wash my hands twice, come back, and now you telling me that I'm a liar and you don't like me, you know. So I'm just like, wow, like that's really fucked up. Like, I'm thinking in my head, wow, this is really fucked up for my teacher to be saying, my principal to be saying to me, like, what's wrong? So I start crying, and I'm not sure, like, I'm sure I didn't cry the entire time up until this point, but I started tearing up a little bit, and it was basically like, I don't believe you. You can't stay after school. You can't go to the game, you know? And by this time, the game had started. My friend was in the game, watching the game, you know, like, she didn't come out and check on me, or at least I don't remember her doing it or anything like that. So they're in the game. I'm freaking outside right next to I'm sitting on a chair right next to the ticket booth where people come in and get their tickets, basically waiting on my mama and my aunt to show up, because I had called them and told them and everything like that while I was outside waiting, you know. And I gave them the entire rundown, the whole story, you know. I didn't exaggerate or anything like that, because I felt like as accurate as I am my story will hold up. I don't want to add in anything for my principal to be like, no, that didn't happen, So I told them everything that happened. And mind you, I tell my mom everything, so even with the situation about I can suspend you, right, and the what is your purpose, all of those things I had brought to my mom's attention, so by the time this happened, she had already hit her point with this guy, she was already ready to say something to him, so, and then of course my aunt is a ride or die, So, I'm crying, every now, like, I'm just hearing the game going on, seeing my friends go inside the game, and, everyone's, like, walking past me all slow, like, what's wrong, trying to figure out what the fuck I'm crying for, and I'm just not talking to anybody because I'm embarrassed, and it's just taking a toll on me, the fact that this is happening, and I didn't do shit. So, anyway, my mama and my aunt come, and they're like, where is he? And my mama was kind of in the background because my mama's not a talker. She's like about that action. She's waiting on something to pop off. My aunt is both. She gonna talk and she gonna do it, So they had called for the principal. He comes back down and he's just like, this. So my aunt is like, where's my niece's money? He reaches to get the money, and my aunt like fucking grabs his hand and rips them dollars out that hole, and he just looked shook like, oh shit, whose niece did I fuck with, So my aunt is just like, what's wrong with you? You don't like liars? You calling my niece a liar? Like, are you kidding me? She can't come to the game. You got her sitting out here crying in front of all these people. Like, what's your problem? What's your deal? And all this other stuff just going off on him. And he's just like kind of quiet. I don't remember what he was saying at all because he really couldn't get a word in. After the money was gotten and she said what she had to say, it was like, all right, let's go. And of course he was saying, no, she can stay, she can stay, she can go ahead and stay. But it's like, fuck you and this game. I don't want to stay no more, After everybody didn't just watch me cry, like, fuck that shit. So I ended up going home. And I don't remember if it was a couple days or the same day. A couple days or the next day after that game, but I remember being called to his office, and he was just like, I'm really sorry. I cried this morning. I'm pretty sure it was the next day then. So he's like, I cried this morning. I almost showed up at your house to apologize, I didn't mean it and stuff like that. And he like had offered me like, oh, do you want some M&Ms with nuts in them, or do you want the M&Ms without the nuts in them? Like, I'm trying to make it up to you type thing. And I took the goddamn M&Ms because who don't want to be eating some candy in class and don't nobody else have any candy? Like, of course I took the M&Ms. And remember when I told y'all how the ID badge situation, how if you didn't wear it, you would be in trouble. And I will always forget my ID badge, like, real talk. So I guess he noticed that and was like, you can start keeping your ID badge in my little folder behind the door. Like, it would be other students' ID badges in there that he let do that. So he was just like, you can keep my ID badge, keep your ID badge in the in my little folder thing. I'm starting to sweat, y'all, because it's hot. But he was like, you can keep your ID badge in my little thing so that you won't get in trouble and all that. So basically, he just did like a complete 180 after that situation. He was the nicest dude in the motherfucking world. But of course, I wasn't fucking with him. I took the candy and I accepted the apology because that's just how I am. But it was not a me and you are besties now, like we're so close because we had this interaction and stuff like that. And I feel like that's what he wanted it to be, but that's just not how I am, So that whole situation blew over. I was in 8th grade, of course, so that next year I would be going to high school. He wasn't gonna be my principal after I moved schools anymore, so I wasn't really worried about it, and nothing else really happened. And maybe not too long ago I did see him again, like as an adult driving and shit like that, because my cousins and brother and stuff like that ended up going to that school. My cousins ended up going to that school. He was still the principal and stuff like that. I remember going to go pick up my cousin from school, and when I saw him, he was just like, I know you gonna speak, I know you ain't gonna just, like, I'll knock your head off, you acting like you don't see me. So I'm like, hey, what's up, principal, and went on by my business because, like, like, I don't know, like, that's just, I didn't think that I needed to be your friend or anything like that, or that I need to speak to you every time I see you. Like, it was just really weird. But that was the end of that story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe, but also share my videos because I'm trying to grow my channel. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out before I keep on rambling. This little insert, after that incident with the basketball game, my mom had told me that she talked to one of my teachers who had heard about the incident, and she was just like, wow, I didn't even know Arista was friends with Jess. You know, like, I've never really heard them talk. You know, she's not really someone that I would think Arista would be friends with and all the other stuff. And I was just like, bitch, what about this principal? Ain't nobody gonna say nothing about the principal. But anyway, whatever.